Ryan.
And I'm Logan. And this is Tops.
Sup? Ready to try to learn a new deck?
This is Bottoms.
Sup? I like the zoo.
This is Dribbles. Sup? Avocados. I like birds. And we're Crush Cards. Hi, team. Happy Thursday. My super duper Shrakes or Shrake or whatever you want to be today, baby.
So since the release of Lightning Overdrive just a couple weeks ago, there has been a brand new deck that has started to rear its head a little bit more. It might be the deck seeing the most competitive play right now. That doesn't mean that it's the best deck, but it is probably just one of the decks that is seeing the most tournament play.
It's popular.
It's very popular. This deck obviously is Tri-Brigade ZOODIAC.
Or Zoo Tri-Brigade, or Zoo Brigade, or Tri-Zoo, or whatever you want to call it, because God knows the one I want to call it isn't right.
This is the deck that I actually just got top 8 with at the TNS Gaming. It's like a little Philly regional. It was like a cash tournament. It was a really awesome event. If you haven't seen it, feel free to go check out Let's Top Locals episode 4. We'll put it up in the corner somewhere for you. But the deck is just really, really awesome, and a lot of people have shown interest about the deck. So we figured we would do an awesome collaborative video today with one of our favorite content creators, going through the deck, talking about what cards are necessary, what cards aren't, where the flex spots are, budget options, and all that other good stuff.
And in case you didn't look at the thumbnail, didn't read the title of this video, and blindly came into this, we're talking about YISHAN!
Hey.
We've talked about YISHAN on the channel before. We mentioned him for a Wildcard Wednesday. YISHAN is a very good friend of ours. He's been to the Remote Duel Invitational qualifiers. He is a boss with any sort of Tri-Brigade, Bird, Grand Maju. He's a master of all trades. He is the professional himself. We love him to death.
One could say he's a beast.
He is... But the whole purpose of this video is to really give you guys like a best practice guide for like what is the core, where are the flex spots, and like what things you can do to really make this deck your own, while also keeping it to the point of playability that it can be the best. Another thing to really point out in this video is that we're not saying that there's one build that is the most optimal build, because people get really gatekeepy about their decks. But we're trying to say in this video is that you can actually do a lot of different things and play very different versions of this deck, and it's still really damn good.
A lot of versatility in this deck,
yes, for sure. So go into this video with an open mind and see if you actually like it, and hopefully this will inspire you to maybe play this deck. Also, total side note, we had some amazing news yesterday. Big 3 Deals has put up pre-orders for Maximum Gold El Dorado. Yes, if you didn't know, we are getting another Maximum Gold set this year, and you can pre-order it right now at big3deals.com with the code CrushCards5 for 5% off your entire order, shipping and tax included. You can get a single box, you can get a display, you can get a case, you can do it all. I highly recommend you get these now while the prices are still low, because as we get more leaks from this set, it's gonna get wild. Altar IP is in here. Nightmare Unicorn is in here. I'm assuming the rest of the Eldritch monsters are in here. Chamber Dragon Maid is in here. I really recommend you go get this set ASAP. Link is in the description box down below. And when you do order with our code, it helps support the channel and lets us do more shenanigans like this. But with all that out of the way, we'll get out of your hair. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure the notification bell is turned on. Make sure you check out all of our links in the description box down below. And check out YISHAN's channel. The link is down there too. We got a bunch of links down there. I don't know what to tell you. Me and my moppy shower hair are gonna get out of here, and you're gonna see us in a totally different setting than one you've ever seen us do before. It's really nice. I worked really hard on the layout, so if you like the layout, let me know in the comments. I worked really hard on it.
Let's take it over to us and YISHAN. We'll see you in a second.
Wow, wet hair!
Okay, hey guys. So Crush Cards and I thought it would be a good idea to actually just take a look at the core of the ZOODIAC Tri-Brigade deck, sort of the non-negotiable cards that basically everyone has to play, and so we would sort of recommend you play these as well. And I guess we might as well just start off with the Tri-Brigade engine. This is a pretty standard Tri-Brigade engine, pretty agreed upon, with the 3 Nervball, the 3 Kit, the 3 Fractal, and the double Karis.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to add on these guys?
I don't think so. I think a lot of us were playing 3 Karis at the beginning, but like now that the deck has kind of been optimized and a lot of players are choosing to play the 2, I've also cut down to 2, you know, at least for a couple weeks now. You do not need the 3rd one.
Yeah, and it's searchable, so like, why not?
Yeah, there's not enough stuff to discard.
100%.
Unlike sort of other Tri-Brigade decks, like you have 2, maybe 3 or 4 other Beast Warriors that are not Tri-Brigades.
Yep.
So just not enough stuff to discard. Okay. We got 3 Ash, which is sort of like a staple hand trap. Now, Brian has a funny story I'll let him tell when he talks about his deck profile.
Yes.
And then the Crow, I would recommend at least 1 Crow.
For sure, 100%.
Not everyone plays this. I'm not sure why, especially with Drytron getting more popular.
It's so powerful.
You search it.
It's a searchable card. It's a searchable hand trap. It's insane.
Yeah. And then the Zoodiacs we have here. Now, I used to think Whiptail was sort of core to this deck, but then I got proved wrong at the Remote Duel Invitational. First place champion Samuel Chang, he did not even play a Whiptail, so I guess we can't even consider that core of the deck now. So
Kind of true.
you only have to play 2 zoos. I think 3 is still fine though.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure.
Okay, yeah, and then we've got 3 tanky, which I don't think anyone disagrees with this card.
Right.
You have to, I mean, this card's like the best card in the deck.
Yeah. It searches you. It searches your zoos or your fractal. Like it might be the best card in the deck.
Yeah, I think it probably is. And then the 1 barrage just for the free special. I think everyone plays this, and then the call by the grave just because, you know.
Yeah.
If you draw it against Lancet, it feels good.
Yup.
Absolutely.
Yup. 100%.
Feels good. Okay. And then we got some traps here. I don't see everyone playing in Impure, although I see more and more people starting out. It just, you win for free, so, and you don't play that many spells in this deck, so.
It's literally just like a free win condition.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I enjoy winning for free.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, and we've got sort of 3 strike. I mean, I think this is probably just the best trap card that's at 3 in the game. It's just so generic.
Yep.
Honestly, you could put 3 strike in almost any deck and it'll probably still be pretty
almost
good.
any deck. Like Logan was playing it
I
in
was
her
playing
deck
it
this
in my
weekend,
deck,
so,
and I'm like, yeah, I'll pay that 15. Let's go.
And it's a powerful card.
Yeah. I mean, you could play like Greg Machi, probably still be good. So.
Who plays that deck though, right?
Oh my gosh.
And then we've got 3 Imperm. Now this is more of like a meta thing right now, but I think Imperm is in a very strong spot.
Very.
We did a profile on my list the other day, but like I think from what I said was I think that Imperm was probably the MVP of the entire deck.
Crazy how good that card became out of nowhere.
Yeah, like it is easily the best 1-for-1 trade. It does not play into talents. If you hit the right deck at the right time, it literally just turn ending, which is crazy because it's just Imperm. Like it's not like it's like some insane crazy blowout card. It's literally just Imperm.
It's just Imperm.
But it's so powerful right now.
Yeah, it's got definitely a big resurgence.
Yes,
for sure.
So yeah, I like to see it. And then I put 2 Revolt here because you actually don't need to run 3. We'll talk about sort of the differences between our lists.
Yep.
Y2, Y3, but you only need 2. I would agree that you only need 2, but you definitely need 3 in some circumstances, and we'll talk about that. So yeah, that's it. I guess this is 31 cards.
Yep.
And then for the side deck, I think a lot of people have sort of Lancia. Lancia is sort of straightforward. This card is
Lancia is just
a
like
monster in some matchups.
Dependent.
So. Yay, Lancia. I like winning for free again. And then Anti-Spell is sort of, it's gained more popularity.
Yeah.
It's like sort of a generic floodgate anyone can activate going first. Again, we don't run that many spell cards, so I like this card a lot.
I love that traps are becoming like really popular power cards right now. It makes me happy.
Yeah. And I guess the reason I should say why we side this is because you sort of only want it going first.
Yes.
Yep.
So you just put it in your deck when you go first.
For sure. And it's also just like the format is very spell heavy at the moment.
Very.
Like Drytron is just playing a ton of spell. Yeah, Dragon Link. Even like, not saying that it sees a lot of popularity, but like the dinosaur matchup is still relatively prevalent. I played a couple over the weekend, so like Double Evolution Pill is the only threatening card in that deck. So you're like forcing them to hard draw or like at least search the UCT. So it definitely puts them on a very wonky route. So the anti-spell I think is just insane.
Yep. Okay, and then for the extra deck is actually extremely tight in this deck. There are only
very tight.
Basically one flex spot that I can think of.
Yeah.
You have to play all 4 Zodiacs for the combo.
Yep.
And Borbo for the Zeus. Zeus is a very strong reason why to play the Zodiacs at all, so you sort of want those. And then we've got the Bear Bloom, the Bear Brum, and the Fairjet. You have to play 2 Shirags, you have to play the Appaloosa, have to play the Almirage for normal summoning. Access code just wins.
Yeah.
Again, I like winning, so fan of this card.
Free.
The Double Dragon Lord, just the random disruption comes up a lot. You need at least 1 Link 3, so that's sort of where the flexibility comes in.
Yes.
You need to play at least 1 Link 3. There's Rugal, you can play 2, there's Rugal, there's the Doom Eagle, and of course there's also Simorg as well, so there's sort of some different options here, but I would say you need at least 1 Link 3 in your extra deck.
For sure.
And then maybe the last spot can be a flex.
As you said, like access code winning for free, like you have to have the Link 3 just to make access code.
Please reprint this card soon, Konami. I would appreciate it. But yes, you do need a Link 3 to make the access code, exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
And then the rest of these guys, you just need this part of the combo. This searches your Revolt.
Yep.
It's just this is like what wins. Shirag.
Such a good card.
Yeah.
A lot of first turn boards with Appaloosa and then Almirage to unbrick yourself. So yeah, okay. Shall we take a look at your list first, since you did so well with it?
If you like, go for it. For sure.
Okay, let's take a look here.
Yeah, so we did a video on this on our channel.
Pause, hang on.
Okay.
I would like you to point out how many cards are in this list, Brigade.
There are 40 cards in this
40
list.
cards.
Yeah. So
And how much money did you win with 40 cards? Can you remind me again?
250. We decided to do a top 8 split instead.
Yeah, they did. They split everything like a bunch of honorable gentlemen.
Yes.
Okay,
So
okay.
for what it's worth, I always play 41. So that's like it's like a little stereotype for me, I guess. It's a superstition type thing. I've always played 41. Every other like invite I've ever gotten has been with 41. The story that YISHAN was referring to before is we have 3 Secret Rare Ash Blossom, 2 of which are first ed, 1 of which is unlim. We were getting all of our like max rarity cards together just because we were like going out to play tournament, so we were putting them all together, and I just forgot to grab the 3rd one because it was unlimited. And we get to the like our Airbnb, we started testing, and I realized that I was only playing 2 Ash, so it's 2 Ash and 2 Crow. And I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't miss the 3rd Ash.
Love it.
I said it in our video yesterday or the day before that I honestly think I could potentially drop Ash for something like this, depending on the format. Lancia main deck at like competitive events, especially for like mirror match, if they don't touch Dragon Link, like the Chaos Engine, I could potentially see main decking 2 to 3 copies of Lancia instead and siding Ash as well. So, you know, just take that with a grain of salt. Ash is a really good 1-for-1 trade, but as I said before, Imperm just put in so much more work.
MVP.
Yep. And every time I think there was like 3 times I resolved Ash, every single time my opponent took another card out of my hand with talents. So I think I was like, all right, well, we're just gonna use the Imperms a little bit more. So
Okay. I guess, do you want to talk about, I guess, what's sort of not part of the core? We have the Whiptail here.
yes. So
the
I think
trolls,
yep.
the Dark Rulers, and I think that's
Feather
it. So, yeah,
Duster, the main
maybe
deck
have those
Feather
cards
Duster.
perform for you. Oh, and the statue, of course.
Yep, statue
So,
and the main deck Feather Duster. So I guess just to kind of like cap real quick, the reason I'm not playing Desires is because I do feel like over the last 2 months or 3 months even of testing, if you play the deck well and you play the deck relatively, you know, like with resource management in mind, you're getting to your revolt, and the game only lasts 2 to 3 turns tops. And if you're able to resolve the revolt, you're getting near ball on your turn and your opponent's turn every single turn. So you already have that resource management. So I was like, you know what? Desires is good, and obviously I can draw into like strikes or imperms or whatever, but most test hands that I did, and at least most hands over the weekend, I had at least a starter plus 2 hand traps, and then something like, you know, a Dark Ruler for follow-up, or maybe, you know, like the games that you draw order, it's just absolutely insane.
Well, yeah.
And like, even if there are dead cards, as I said, you know, like Feather Duster or the Dark Ruler, it gives you that ability to, if your opponent breaks your board, you can just kind of play through it even more, which I think the Whiptail is something that YISHAN said Sam wasn't playing in his list, and I don't think that's incorrect, but the reason I'm playing the Whiptail is because instead of the Pot of Desires, I'm playing the Dark Ruler no more. So Dark Ruler for me was absolutely insane, especially like main deck. Like game 1, no one sees it coming. I lost 6 of 7 dice rolls, so that was awesome. Felt really good. And I mean, your opponent just sets up a board, and like I swear to God, every single time 6th card was either Dark Ruler or Tenki, and you just had the other piece. You just go Dark Ruler, Tenki, search the Whiptail, so that you have the Zoo combo in your deck still. Make board vote, you can break the board, or like if you want to go, because like, you know, I was typically summoning Fractal, and which is the reason I was playing the Barrier Statue. This isn't actually a going second list, but I feel like over the weekend it
definitely became one.
It performed as a going second list. So the Barrier Statue to me isn't like a going first play. I know a lot of people have dropped the Barrier Statue, and I think that is more than fine. You 1000% don't need it. So I'm not advocating that it's like a mandatory card, but once you can Zeus your opponent and just wipe their entire board, you leave them with like 1 or 2 cards to play through. You still have a 2 material Zeus. You have your entire graveyard set up. Depending on your hand, I mean, you should have at least, you know, 4 cards in hand still. You could typically get to Revolt plus some Morgue and then Barrier Lock your opponent. And I don't even think my Virtual World opponent, which was the only person playing Wind Monsters, was able to play through, you know, the Shireg off the Revolt, the Barrier Statue, and then a 2 material Zeus. So going second, it kind of just locks up the game for you. So, I mean, that's really my reasoning behind this list. I'm not saying that it's a going second list, but I did go second a lot of times this weekend.
It's versatile.
And it was just really versatile. So I always play 41. I should have probably played the 3rd Ash, but
we're not complaining because 40 got us the cash.
Yeah,
so you know what?
It got me top 8 out of over 160 person tournament in Philly, so it was really, really good.
Yeah.
I think the list was insane. The deck played really well. I
Yeah.
think I really enjoy this list. I've been playing the deck for a while, and I definitely think there are things I will change. What they are, I don't necessarily know yet. I really do like talents. I'd like to I played it before. I don't know if I would main deck it or if I would side it, but it's definitely a card to consider for sure.
Okay, so that's cool for the main deck. Anything notable you want to mention in your side deck?
Yeah.
I guess we can sort of skip the extra.
So
there's just a Simorg instead of a Revolve here.
that is the flex spot. So once again, I guess for the silver logic, I don't think the silver is the bad play. I also don't think silver is incorrect. For me personally, I just as I said, the way that I was playing the deck, if you play it well and you play it with that resource intensive mind state, you always are going to be resolving Revolt. So therefore you're always going to get that Nerval, and at least the reason that I've seen a lot of people play silver is because on your main phase, your opponent's main phase, not even yours, just your opponent's, you special back a card and then it either triggers to go to the graveyard to search it, which you should technically, in my opinion, be doing off of Revolt regardless. So you're kind of getting that interaction already, and then on top of that, at the end phase you're adding that card back, which is fine, but for me, whenever I needed an extender, that extender was the one in which I was searching off of the Revolt with the Nerval going to the graveyard again anyways. So I think the Simorg Link, as I said, kind of just locks up the game. A lot of people don't see it coming because a lot of Tri-Zoo lists have cut it. So when it hit the board, a lot of people, you just instantaneously just saw them start sweating. So, but yeah, as far as the side deck, I don't think I would change anything in the side deck except for Judgment. I would probably play Anti-Spell instead. 100% would play Anti-Spell instead.
Okay, so that sounds good. I think it might be good to maybe take a look at my list now, and it's not that one list is better or worse, it's just sort of a different style or different sort of tech cards you can play with the deck. And I think the main card to highlight here, the biggest difference between our two lists is this card right here,
that
Pot of
green
Desires.
card.
Yeah, big old green card.
Being the Grand Module player that I am, I love this card.
Yes, we do.
But it's also very divisive card, right? So, I guess I think one weird thing about Pot of Desires is that it's obvious when it loses you a game because you can feel it. You banish 3 of something, and it's instantly man, that sucks. But I think it's sort of weird because when it wins you games, you sort of might not even notice it. Because it's just 2 cards sort of replaced from your deck. So I really like the card. And originally I wasn't even playing Gamma. This is another difference between sort of Brian and I's list is that I sort of didn't want to play Gamma. I mean, I wanted to, but I really wanted to play Desires. And then I saw Samuel just play Gamma anyway. And I saw that and I was like, you know what? I respect that. And so now I'm sort of trying it too, and it's pretty good. I mean, sometimes it'll bite you in the butt, but I mean... For what it's worth, we're sort of going high power, but sort of high variance.
In the first iteration of the deck that I was playing, I was actually playing Gamma as well. I wasn't playing Desires, but I was playing Gamma, and it is really good. I mean, if you're able to, Fractal or the Tenki or just the Barrage, any interaction there, the Gamma's just insane. It really does just win you. It wins you the game at that point.
Yeah, it just wins basically, and I like cards that just win simple games.
We're
where
simple
you just sort of
people
win
here.
I did put I sort of cut the whiptail. I put in an Upstart Goblin, which is interesting.
Ooh.
I once had someone tell me, someone like you, Brian, that played 41. And he said, his name is Walter Jewell, very, very good player. And he said, well, if you're playing 40 and not playing Upstart, then you're a hypocrite. Which is really interesting theory to think about, which is if you're trying to be as consistent as possible, why are you not playing 39 then? And I sort of agree with him. The only problem, I guess, the only faultiness behind that logic is Droll and Lockbird.
That sucks.
But I don't think it's too prevalent this meta, and so I sort of just went with the Upstart because I could, and then I did the same exact Tri-Brigade lineup. And then I played the third Revolt because of the Desires.
And the third Ash. And you played the third Ash.
The third Ash.
And the third Ash, just because, I don't have first edition secret rares, but I do have 3 of this card, so I put 3 of it in my deck.
It does the same thing. At least you're playing the forehead, not the feet.
Yeah, forehead all day. Forehead all day. Forehead gang.
Exactly. Yeah, and then, I played 3 Revolt, and I think that's it for the main deck. So pretty similar, just sort of a different route with the Desires. And then I guess a few things about the side deck. Dark Ruler should be in your deck somewhere, in our
100%.
opinion, because of the synergy with the Zoos
Absolutely.
and the Zeus. So this card should be in your deck somewhere. And then I just played the Droll in the side deck. The one thing that I like more about Brian's side deck, but I couldn't quite bring to mind, is Nibiru. I really wanted to play Nibiru in here. If I had like 18 cards to put in my side deck, I think I would play Nibiru. Just because I think it's... sometimes it just wins. And again, I like cards that just win.
Yeah.
I'm taking full credit for that. Brian was
that's
like...
sort of one...
Brian wasn't sure if he was going to play Nibiru or not, and I take full credit for that, so that was all me.
It is very true.
I was like, oh, you should play Nibiru, and he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, dude, it literally ends entire turns.
It's a free win.
And I told him, I'm like, if you're playing against a rogue player, like, early in rounds, like, you Nibiru them game 2 or 3, like, they just die. Like, so that's all me. You're welcome. A-class deck builder, you're welcome.
For what it's worth, it was, I saw this on DB Grinder's channel, I think a week or two ago. Someone was playing Ghost Mourner and Spooky Dog, or not Ghost...
Moonlit Chill, oh my
Moonlit
god.
Chill.
How
Sorry, my
dare
bad.
you mix
Yeah.
her up with Spooky?
The wind one. And they were playing it for time, and I was like, man, every time I've ever tested in game 3, I've gone to time. And for what it's worth...
We went to time all damn
almost
day.
every single game I went to time. I think there was 2 rounds out of 7 that I didn't go to time. So
wow.
But
Okay.
if I had the Moonlit Chill as opposed to the Nibiru, it wouldn't have mattered because the Nib won me the game regardless. So
You're darn
the Nib
right.
allowed me to clear the board, and the Ghost Mourner would have just allowed me to do a little bit more damage. So I'm glad I stuck with Nib, and I think Nib is 1000% the right choice.
You're welcome.
There we go. That's some teamwork right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really want to fit Nib, but maybe I'll try to play around with it and see if I can find a spot for Nib. And then I guess I sort of made a slight error here. This should actually be a Doom Eagle. So I went with the Rugal. I think one big sort of like slight difference is if you're gonna play 3 Revolt, sometimes you might sometimes you only draw Fractal, or not just only draw Fractal, because if you draw a Fractal plus Revolt, you can sort of one card do it. But there's like the there's a play where you can just draw Fractal and make the Rugal sort of thing with the Bear Bloom or Bear Brum. And I actually have a lot of combo videos, so if you guys check that out on either of our channels. Definitely check that out. But just if you're going to play through Revolt, you're going to drop more in your opening. So I think it's nice to have this Revolt. Sometimes you just send me a Link 3 anyway, which is kind of interesting. So, yeah. And that's really it. There's not much to talk about in the extra deck because it's so similar.
I have a question for you personally,
Yes,
and this
please.
is definitely just personal preference. So why Twin over Cosmic?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this. In testing, I found that if I played against a back row deck, I always, even against like the Shadol decks where Cosmic is nice, because it sort of banishes the Shadol trap instead of just it
Or
might
even
just
like
come back.
the Tidying too, to get rid of the Dragonmate Tidying is really powerful.
Right, the Tidying, the Tidying as well. So against Dragon Link, Cosmic is slightly better, but I'm not even sure if you're siding in Cosmic for Dragon Link if you're not going to main deck it.
Yeah, I didn't.
And then, so I just found that against the trap decks or against prank hits, like a lot of prank hits will just set 2 cards or even more, and you want to be able to hit that Pandemonium and just having that extra back row hit, especially since there's a lot of good stuff to discard with this deck, like the Nurballs and the kits.
Even driver
or just
sometimes.
like some random driver.
Because you're definitely opening it. You're definitely opening the driver at least once a match.
Right. Barrage sometimes is dead. Oh, quick tip, I just thought I'd just point it out. This card can dump Barrage, I'm pretty sure.
It can.
So if you draw both of these, which seems to happen, Rat and Ram for some reason, you can actually dump Barrage because it sends a Zoodiac card. So fun fact. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's sort of the reason why.
Yeah, that's fair. I found that like in a lot of the testing that we did, a lot of back row decks had protection from destruction for their back row, but they didn't have protection against banishing, which is just why I made the last minute decision to do the Cosmic over the Twin. And like main decking Feather Duster and the IO, obviously you still have like 5 outs to back row. So no, I don't think it's wrong at all. Just curious to get your opinion.
Okay. Yeah, and that's it from my deck. So I guess let's just do a quick review about the differences between our decks, just so the viewers can remember. We'll just go over real quick. So there was, Brian had a Whiptail and a Statue, along with the Huffbeast Feather Duster, which I like. I like this card.
Yeah.
Just because it can win you. I like winning. He had Dark Wars in the main, whereas I had them in the side. he played the Drolls in the main, whereas I had them in the side, and then he had an extra DD Crow. I'm obviously playing the Gamma package. He was missing an Ash, so there's the Ash there, and then one extra Revolt, and then in his side deck he had an extra, or he had the Phantasme, Nibiru, Cosmic, and he had the Judgment in his side, but he said he would probably swap that out for Anti-Spell, and then of course these two Link monsters.
Yes.
Different. So if you just sort of want to see the difference between our two decks, this is a good little image to look at.
Yep.
Perfect.
And I think that is sort of it about everything. Oh, there's some cards to talk about. We have some cards to talk about, actually. Yep. So we also wanted to talk about cards that aren't in either of our decks, but sort of we see sometimes.
Yep.
So are there... I guess you have the most experience with droplets and triple tactics. Do you want to start us off there?
So I guess droplets actually kind of, to tie back into just a couple minutes ago, the Twin Twister, discarding, obviously droplets sends, but if you can send like a Nervall or a Kit, you're not technically losing that resource advantage. So I really liked that. I think I saw 1 or 2 lists this weekend on Tri-Brigade Zoo, one of which topped as well, that was main decking droplet. So I don't think there's anything wrong with droplet over something like Dark Ruler. It really is just hand dependent. I do think for me personally, not playing Desires, I had to be more resource intensive, so that's why I chose the Dark Ruler, because I know that you can just break the board by normal summoning any Zoo, or sometimes even just like Charade gets rid of the problem, you can set up a board and then play from there. But if you are going to play the Desires and you're going to have that extra card, droplet sometimes is just the better choice, so just keep that in mind, I guess.
Plus, you can send a Desires too, actually.
Yeah, because you will Desires into Desires.
Every time.
And then, I mean, Talents is just it's an insane card. Like,
it's
it allows you hand knowledge, which, we saw in the finals. It just, it can rip an important card. It can get you access to what you have to play through. If you're not playing Desires like I am, you just draw 2 for free. It's just a very, very good card, or it helps you out problematic monsters. Like some decks out there are still playing Dragoon, so it's a free Dragoon out once you've baited the negate. So I don't think there's any issue with Talents.
Were you playing Talents in your other build?
I was playing
Talents.
Talents.
I believe you were.
I was, yeah. I was playing Gamma and Talents as opposed to Imperm and Droll. Those were the differences. But yeah, I think they're both fantastic cards. And as I said before, I would almost try to find room for triple tactics in the main deck again.
Yeah, I mean, this card is very, very good when it resolves. I mean, it's if your hand's good, you could rip a card out of your opponent's hand. I mean, it's just crazy.
And you win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Free wins.
Again, free wins. I like
free wins.
Yeah. The hand traps are interesting here. I picked these 3 because I thought they were maybe the 3 most common ones.
Yeah.
Belle is sort of gaining more popularity with Drytron being better. It's decent against Drytron. Valor is sort of like Imperm has been gaining a lot of popularity, right? And Valor is sort of like Imperm's 4 through 6.
Yeah.
It's also a lot cheaper than Imperm. So if you're looking for a hand trap and you don't have Imperms, then Valor is your boy.
Very good budget alternative.
And I mean, I guess Skullmeister is just sort of randomly good. It's just sort of 1 for 1.
It is. It's good.
I think Belle's pretty much the best in the lineup, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it hits so much. It hits so much. And then there is one card that's actually not on the screen that I just thought of, so I apologize to everyone for not putting it in. But a lot of decks I've seen play Alpha, Master of Beasts as well. Alpha is also
pretty good against Dragonling.
Yes.
What a good boy. Love him.
I tested Alpha. I don't think there was anything wrong with it, but as I said previously, main decking cards like Dark Ruler, making Zeus, being able to have access to like multiple charades to get rid of cards. I just didn't find it necessary. But it is something that I've seen before for sure.
Yeah, and it sort of has that slight beast synergy.
Yes.
And if you have a crazy game, you can even search it. I'm sure it is, but that's pretty rare.
Banish 8.
Yep. And then I just want to talk about some trap cards here. So before Bear Bloom came out, a lot of people were on this trap trick normal trap engine.
Yep.
It's not that it's bad now, it's just that you don't need to do it anymore, and you can sort of play cards like Solemn Strike and Imperial Order.
Yep.
Which are just so high impact.
Counter traps in general right now are just extremely powerful. Like, it's almost like you need to play them because you just want to end turns as fast as possible.
Yep. man, there's no
so
feeling.
These are just options, though. Yeah, you can still play them.
There's no better feeling than, you know, like striking a 14 material Zeus either.
True. Sometimes if I'm feeling like a little cruel, I'll let their Zeus resolve and sort of wait for them to activate the effect. Like, there's no reason to do that, but if I'm just feeling like I want to mess with them a little bit, then I do that sometimes if I'm playing.
Wow, toying with your prey.
Yeah, okay, so it's just sort of an option still available.
Yeah.
And then there's one card I have in the extra deck. This is like I know a lot of people don't have access code talker, but maybe have a Tri-Brigade engine. This is like your access code talker imposter budget replacement.
Yes.
Especially if you play like Desires, this card can get pretty high.
Yeah.
But it doesn't pop cards. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't pop cards. But if you're looking for a link for to help you close out games, this is probably the best one because it's so generic. It only needs 2 effect monsters.
Yep.
So just an option for all you budget players out there.
Or if not, like the third charade comes up sometimes too, or can.
The third charade is also fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, that's it. I think hopefully we've helped you guys sort of learn everything there is to learn about the deck.
Get more insight and just more opinion. You know,
I think what's really helpful about a video like this with this kind of collaboration is it shows you that you can play the deck in 2 completely different ways essentially, but like they're both extremely successful. Like and even Samuel Chang's version was like very different. Like there's no people seem to get the mindset that there's only one way to play a deck and like that version is like the best version. You must play these 40 or whatever cards, and I feel like this really shows people that like you can play variations with a very similar core and you can still be extremely successful. It's really at the end of the day it does come down to piloting and how you can pilot the deck the best way.
And I think that's kind of what drew me to the deck specifically, is, you know, as we went over in the very first section, is that the deck has its core, but there is like, I mean, if we're being like super technical, there's like maybe even 14 slots that are open, and that, you know, like if you don't really want to play Imperial Order, or you don't want to play, you know, like Solemn Strikes, there's a couple lists not playing Strike at all this weekend, or, you know, even just throughout the last couple weeks of playing, there's just a lot of lists that vary. I think having that freedom to play, you know, as Yishan showed at the last slide, is you know, you've got a bunch of traps, or you can play a bunch of hand traps. I personally like the hand traps because they are, you know, a little bit more versatile going first and second, and even though the traps are very blowout-y traps, I feel like, you know, like once you've set 4, your opponent knows exactly how many cards they're going to have to play through. Whereas opposed to if you have 4 hand traps in your hand, those are more, you know, like of a surprise factor. So I think that was more the reason I leaned towards the hand trap heavy version. But I think this deck is just so cool because, as Logan said, there's a ton of versatility, and there's a ton of room to make it your own while having it still be Tri-Brigade Zoo, but still be successful.
It is an extremely creative style of deck, and I think that's what makes it so alluring to people, is they can really make it their own while still being very much in that tier of what that deck is.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. One thing I wanted to sort of just note, just as a technical sort of play thing, is it's actually nice to have a nice mix of hand traps and traps, because it makes like those trap blowout cards, you know, less painful. But also you get to sort of get the mix, because, like, you know, there's no hand trap that's going to do what Solemn Strike does. You sort of get the power as well. So I really like the balance. This deck feels very balanced.
It does. It honestly,
I really like that about it.
Yeah, it feels like it's very much monster spells traps. Like it's the beautiful foundation of Yu-Gi-Oh.
If I could just take out this driver and replace it with one spell, it'd be perfect. But so we can have a nice 20-10-10. Man. So I guess that's it for this video. I have a combo video that I think will be going up on both of our channels.
Yes, it will.
So if you sort of are new to the deck, or even if you've sort of played for a little while, I think, you know, combos aren't the end-all and be-all. You know, you're not going to just watch the combo video and go top a bunch of events.
Oh, no, you're not.
But what it will do is it will let you it'll sort of ingrain the basics that you need to play this deck. You know, you sort of need to know some basic combos just to start playing, and then the rest of it is sort of up to you. So go check those out. Thanks, guys, for having me on your channel. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us on yours, too, man.
And I can confirm that Yishan does do very fantastic, well-done combo videos. When I was learning the Bird Up deck, I watched all of Yishan's videos. And I was like, it was like a wonderful comfort and tranquility all while learning a deck. It was so beautiful. But yeah,
Yes.
but huge thank you to YISHAN for hanging out with us and talking about a deck that we both absolutely love. Like, we love this deck, and that's why we are putting so much damn work into it for y'all, because we want to show you A, the results, and B, that, you know, it takes a lot of commitment to make a deck do what you want it to do.
All right, so if you guys haven't already subscribed to Crush Cards channels, you guys should go do that. I would be very shocked if you haven't, but again, if you haven't, you know, it's better late than never, right? Jump on the train and go show them your support.
Facts.
Thank you, YISHAN. And then make sure if you're watching us on our channel, you go check out YISHAN's channel. We have the link in the description box down below. Go check him out. He does the most. He does the absolute best. He works super hard, and we love him very much. He is a dear friend, and he really is a gosh darn professional.
Very true.
But yeah, with all that being said, make sure you stick around for the combo video. It's coming up very soon. It's going to be on both of our channels, which is pretty rad. So that's about all we got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you comment, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, notification bell is turned on. Check out all of our links in the description box down below. But we love you. You matter. And if this is on YISHAN's channel, you matter too. And I hope you come join. And you know, that's it. I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you sometime.
See you soon.